Thanks very much, Cathaoirleach. I have 2.5 minutes sharing with Deputy Tully, so I'm going to try and fit loads, and I'm going to specifically look at the area of children and childcare. And I want to start off by welcoming the most recent announcements. It's unusual. I've been sitting in the chair listening to all the opposition speeches and thought that mine might be a little bit different, but I do think it's important to give credit where it's due. I would have liked to see more, and that is our job in the opposition as well, to always be pushing for more. But I will say, and Minister Abbott will be particularly aware of this, for years I have spoken about the early years sector, the wages in particular, and also then the fees. So it is great to see progress on both those issues, and I think it's important to acknowledge that. There's always more that can be done, and I do think it is up to us to keep pushing that, and we will continue to do that. We did have, I suppose, an allocation for a decrease of 1/3 this year and 2/3 next year in our alternative budget. However, I do think as a sector that has been underinvested for years in previous governments, it is good and it is welcome, and I think it's progress and it's a step in the right direction, and particularly for the workers in relation to the ERO, kind of recognition for them that's been hard fought. So that's, I think, a positive thing. I really do think that that's good and it's progress. I did want to actually touch a little bit on child poverty, given the recent, I suppose over the last number of months and weeks, we all know about the increased cost of living, and no matter how much you try and budget or think, okay, there might be, a bill might have gone up double, people's bills are just getting to the stage where, you know, you can't nearly predict at all what it's going to be. And it struck me when I was looking at this, like, that so much of it doesn't just fall to the Department of Children, like some of it falls to the Department of Social Welfare in terms of the increase. I know there's been some criticism of the €2 increase, which falls to social welfare, for example, for the increase for a qualified child, and how that doesn't really go far enough. But in terms of the amount of children now that are going to be at greater risk of child poverty, is there some plan to look at some joined up between Department of Children, Education and Social Welfare? Because already we were hearing, like in committee, for example, about people relying more and more on food banks, and it just strikes me that we're going to see more children you know, potentially at risk of child poverty. And the other thing I wanted to actually ask, and I know there's not really a response time, but just in relation to TUSLA and possible increases for domestic violence services as well, at some point maybe Ministry could come back to that. I know it's going to the Department of Justice, but in terms of the refuge spaces. Thanks very much, Chair.